Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for the Vampire Diaries, Season 6, Episode 11, Woke Up with a Monster, directed by Wesley.
Yay!
Don't normally mention the directors, but when the director is one of the main characters, that's something to talk about. I'm your host, Dom. With me is my co-host, Nikki, a.k.a. Omikins.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's good.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about Paul Wesley's... Is this his second episode now, or his third?
No, he's done a few now. He's done a few.
His first one I thought was last season, was it not? I'm going to have to look this up real quick, but...
I think he's done one this season already, too.
I thought it was, maybe he did do one this season. The one he did last season, the very first one, was the one of him and Elena having, like, that reminisce scene when she was, like, dreaming and all that.
Kissing in the rain? No.
That was Damon.
No. See, okay.
Resident Evil. Stefan and Elena having dreams and visions about alternate versions of themselves.
Okay.
You know, that was going on in the Travelers. We blocked that out because of the Travelers.
Yeah.
So that was his...
That's horrible.
That was his directorial debut.
That was actually a really good episode.
It was an amazing episode. And then, so now we're at season 6 here. I believe it's his second episode. I could be wrong. Let me look.
I saw he did another one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
No, that's this.
This is the second one.
Yeah, this is the second one, yeah. Woke Up with a Monster.
Okay. He did an amazing job with this one, too.
He did. He did a phenomenal job. I don't know if it's more that I really liked the way it was filmed, or if I just really like Kai.
Well, Kai had a lot to do with it.
Kai had a massive amount to do with it.
Because, I'm not exactly a fan, but I loved him in this episode. I mean, I think my whole feeling about him has been kind of turned around.
Really?
Yeah, I actually really like his character now.
The thing that I've always liked about Kai, but it was the most apparent in this episode, is how he just so nonchalantly mentions all the terrible things that have ever happened. And it's like, I really, enjoyed that one time that I beat my brother playing Dr. Mario.
Yeah, he's so happy about that. And
but then the time that I enjoyed even more is when I beat him to death.
Yeah,
he's just so nonchalant about it. Like,
he's somber before he actually reveals the exciting part for him.
It's like but it's not that it's even exciting to him. It's just when so in the very first scene where we see him and Elena sitting at the table and they're talking, and he's telling how the bar manager and all that was like, oh no, you can't bring a passed out girl in over your shoulder. He's just. And he goes, and I had to kill him, or, I made him puke out of his, he just started going into all these details, but he's saying it so nonchalantly, he's describing how he just cooked his breakfast. It's
which
nothing...
he was eating.
Right, but it's nothing out of the ordinary for him. It's not like he's trying to spice the story up or spruce it up. He's just telling it matter of fact, like it's everyday business.
Yep.
That is the most enjoyable thing for me to watch. There's no excitement in his voice, but it's not he's disappointed either. It's just he doesn't care. It's just how it is. And that's it.
It's written well, and the actor does an amazing job at it. I think that's why
he does.
Kai is such a compelling character right now, because he really is if I had to compare acting between Elena and Kai in that scene. Mm-hmm. Elena had a poop face.
Hey, I'm going to say, for the first time in a long time, this is an episode that I actually didn't completely hate Elena in.
That's true. I mean, she didn't whine. I mean, she was tortured. She was getting...
Right.
I mean, yes, she had reason to complain. I mean, I gave that to her. It was actually all right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in comparison to Kai, she had poop face.
So I don't know, the actor that plays Kai is actor Chris Wood. I don't know him from anything. I'm looking right now. He's been in almost next to nothing.
He's gonna be in a lot more now.
He's been in a short film called The Magazine Girl. He's in a television film called Browsers, and then he had a 6-episode reoccurring role on The Carrie Diaries, another Diaries show. And then he guest starred in 2 episodes, one of Major Crimes and one of Girls. And then outside his 9-episode role so far in the Vampire Diaries. For somebody who's had almost no formal acting experience, he has been my favorite thing on this show since season 1 Damon.
Yeah, we needed that. I mean, well, Enzo, he kind of covered that a little bit last season. But I mean, yeah, Kai definitely has refreshed that whole, complete badass role.
I mean, take a look at Kai compared to the Traveler storyline. Now, we can't completely hate on the Traveler storyline because Kai just absorbed that whole season.
Mm-hmm. The whole fucking season.
He just sucked that thing up like a straw.
He stuck a straw.
Oh my god, and it's just, he's oozing with power. He's learning how to control it. I mean, and we kind of questioned why exactly he took Elena just before the mid-season break, and we find out this episode, he's using her to practice. His magic is unstable, it's uncontrollable, it's unpredictable. He needs to learn how to focus it. And you could see even with Elena, who he basically has a clean slate, she could keep trying over and over and over again with her, which still doesn't exactly explain why it was Elena, so to speak, as not just any random vampire.
I mean, he did say she was pretty.
Yeah, that too. He was a little nervous, He didn't seem very nervous, but...
No.
He seemed like Kai the whole time, straight through.
He did.
But then we see he's trying to boil her blood, and he's popping blood vessels in her brain, and she's, whatever, and then it gets to the point where he's got the brain thing under control. He's not bursting her brain anymore, but her body temperature is climbed so high that it melts the ring off her finger, so...
I think at one point he was actually trying to make her blood into poison.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think he was just trying to raise the toxicity levels in her blood, which to a normal person, that would do it. It would definitely do it. But Elena without the ring now, that she can't go out in the day. Bonnie's not around to make her a new ring anymore, so...
There's Liv, Luke, and Joe.
Do they have experience making the rings, though? Have they made rings yet?
No, but it's a simple spell. I mean, Davina did it.
No. Wait. There was one. Luke made the ring for Stefan's girlfriend when she was a vampire, didn't she?
Right, yes.
Okay. So Elena can still get a ring. All right, so I'm not so concerned with that.
That
anymore.
ring she's had for a long time, and I think there was some sentimental value as far as compared to, referring to her parents. I mean, there's a connection there, right?
I don't know if it was her parents, necessarily. I thought it was... Didn't didn't Stefan give her that ring?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, the stone anyway. I don't know. The ring itself could have been... it's been so long, but I don't think it had any sentimental value from her parents. I
it
think
had
was
sentimental value.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she wouldn't have flipped out like she did.
Right. So, but it was actually really smart of her to set her hand on fire and then use the Bunsen burner gas line to...
Kai looked impressed.
He did.
He looked impressed. I mean, if he wasn't such a maniacal bastard, I'm sure he'd be trying to, get her in the sack.
He really appreciated that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He liked it.
He did. But what I want to know is, where can I get one of those Mystic Falls Timberwolves t-shirts? Right? That's what I want.
You want that?
After I saw that thing on Kai, I was like, I want that. Give me that. She burned all his clothes, so he went to the gym, the locker room or whatever, and took whatever he could find.
He did look pretty good in it.
Is that the first time we've seen that t-shirt? I've never seen that before.
You know what?
We know the football players had a jersey, but I don't think we've seen a t-shirt.
You know what? I don't know. I don't remember if, they're doing, gym stuff. It was always, just plain gym clothes.
Oh, yeah, it was plain gym clothes.
Yeah.
I think it was, a white shirt and magenta shorts.
Something.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
was it
think
a
it'd be
yellow shirt? I don't
hard
know.
to get
But
one
yeah.
of those now. Now
Yeah.
that people have seen it, they probably just
Somebody.
go on eBay or
So
Amazon.
somebody on Etsy make this thing.
Oh yeah,
I want to buy it. Make it. Somebody do it.
Etsy.
Hmm. Yeah. But then they get this whole plan to go in and basically extract Elena. Elena, in her distress, runs over, phone calls Damon, and we got Joe practicing her magic in the Salvatore boarding house. Things are going haywire in there. Stefan's like, really? You got to do this here? Wait, what? Damon's got feelings? He's got... What?
What? What's going
Yeah.
on?
So Damon rushes out to get her. He drags Liv with him. And Luke is like, absolutely not. You're not helping Liv. Leaves him kind of stranded, and Joe's got to come in and try to save the day.
Which is, interesting because I'm sorry.
I don't even have a can I wave a white flag? I surrender.
I'm sorry. Um, her complete personality, because she just seems like a little kid right now, learning to play with a new toy, even though she's had it before. It's. I'm not sure if I'm liking it, but I like that she's trying.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, that was a really risky and dangerous thing to do. Walk in there with your brother that could just blast you into pieces.
I mean, when he was drinking the Surge or the Mountain Dew or whatever the hell, it looked like Surge to me, but which would be kind of funny because that was around in the 90s when Kai was trapped where he was, but the only way to get it now is on like Amazon or something like that, so I don't think he had readily available access to it. I can't even talk right now. But it's still, I think that little nod would have been cool. I couldn't quite make the can out. Not that was super important, but I was hoping the entire time it was Surge, and I think it was just like...
Mountain Dew to me.
It was either Mountain Dew or Canada Dry, something like that. Sprite, maybe. I don't even think it was Sprite, but yeah.
No, it wasn't Sprite.
No. But that whole scene when he... And see, this is the part that gets me about Kai. Is he's just standing there, and he's like, And then he walks over, Kai, this maniacal villain, who just wants to watch the world burn, puts it in the trash can. Instead of taking this can...
Wait, no. It wasn't the trash can. It was recycle bin.
Oh, yes, it was the recycle bin, nonetheless.
He cares a little bit.
So, I don't even know if it's that he cares I don't... The thing that got me, it's just like he's this evil guy, but he's doing stuff like that. And then now that you mention that, when I go back and I start thinking of how he was in this prison... The supermarket, everything around was still in fairly pristine condition. If I was living in this prison for 15, 20 years or however long I was trapped in there, I wouldn't worry about cleaning up after myself. It's just me. Who am I trying to impress? I would just be eating food, dumping the bags on the floor in the grocery store. I wouldn't be like recycling things. You know?
Well, I mean,
it'd be a different story of where I'm living. Like, I'm not going to want to live like a slob, but if I'm visiting a grocery store and I'm hungry and I want to eat a bag of chips, I'm not going to, like, go look for a trash bag and then when the trash bag is full, go load it into a car and then bring it to the dump and put it in, I'm not saying he did all this, but we didn't see overflowing trash barrels anywhere either, so.
Well, if you think about it, okay, there was milk, there was things that would go bad, but... How long was Damon and Bonnie in there? How long was Kai in there? And there was still good milk. And it's not that he was clean and cared about. It was just that the day kept resetting and things just went back to the way they were at the beginning of that day.
I would agree with you because that's the way I thought it worked. However, then we ran across things like the newspaper that Bonnie was doing, and the newspaper never reset itself. That she would be staring at the same blank space in the crossword every day. Until one day it was filled in. And, it's not... And then her teddy bear. She didn't have to go get her teddy bear back from her house every day. She had the teddy bear and,
Could have been just things that they had been interactive with. If maybe the house didn't change. Maybe that was just like a little... Because they were there, things changed or stayed the same with them.
Maybe. I was just under the impression that the day itself... kept going around in the same thing. I didn't think it was actually physically like a reset button every day. So.
Well, I mean, it's not like you can get those shelves restocked with good milk after all that time.
It's true, too. Did they drink milk?
Well, making pancakes. You can put milk in pancakes, and there was cereal.
You can put milk in pancakes, but I think they were using like that Bisquick stuff where you just add water and flour and whatever. So I don't know. They had butter, so.
Yeah, they had butter. They had things that would.
No, they had whipped cream. That's what it was. They had whipped
yes.
cream. We didn't see butter. We saw whipped cream. We saw blueberries. So, yeah, I don't know. It's magic. Something's going on. That's all.
It's magic.
That's the answer. It's magic. I think we're looking too deep at this point. It's magic.
It's magic. Don't fucking worry about it.
But then, like, when they're busting him out and we see Joe's, like, bleeding out of the nose and, like, this putting 3 people under the cloaking spells really kind of, put strain. And, we saw earlier in the episode Kai had cloaked the restaurant manager and it's like, peekaboo,
That got me, actually. I actually kind of jumped a little bit because, like, holy shit, she was sitting right there with that thing in front of her the whole freaking time. That is cool and gross at the same time.
It is, and the look on his face, that twisted, burned horror. It was great, and it's just, I don't know. But then he's got these other spells that he's doing, where he's doing, what did he call it? Illusion spell? Where he made Elena look like himself, and then Damon practically drove a stake through Elena's heart.
I thought that was really cruel of Elena to do that to Damon.
That was hysterical!
And I know, he kind of, at first he was like, you bitch, and then all of a sudden he's like, I love you.
I think there's a splitter. She did that great.
She was great, yeah.
See, we're starting to like Elena again. Elena,
no,
don't fuck it up.
It was just this one episode that I gave. There's hope because of this one episode.
That's why I said don't fuck it up.
If she fucks up even in the tiniest bit within the next episode, I'm done again. I don't like her. Die for real.
No, they'll get on the hate wagon. We're not there. She did good. Let's get off the hate wagon. We're fine for right now. If we need to get back on at some point, we will. But we're not. So we're not even near the hate wagon right now.
Okay.
So. Well played, Elena. Well played. That was I laughed really hard. As for some of the other minor characters that we saw Sarah Gilbert.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Or not Gilbert.
Salvatore.
Sarah Salvatore, who I don't even remember.
Nelson.
Nelson?
Nelson.
Sarah Nelson. Yeah, Sarah Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
Who they so Caroline's mom, she's got the brain tumor, so they go off on this little journey to go find out, if there's anything they could do. In the meantime, Sarah Nelson is there, so Stefan's like, "Oh, you're going to Butch?" I think is that
Duke.
Duke, Butch, same thing. So, Roger. So they go to Duke, and he goes to pay a little visit, and surprise, surprise, guess who followed them there?
Enzo, who's looking really rough.
He was. I'm not feeling Enzo anymore right now. Like, I think Kai has overshadowed him for me. Like, I really liked Enzo, but Kai is just here, and Enzo's like here.
The thing with Enzo is he plans things and then he executes.
Yeah, so he's definitely up to something. I mean, he bought all her, or took all her artwork.
Yep.
So, I mean, what's he gonna do? Like, decorate the Salvatore house with it, and then Damon's gonna question who the artist is? Like, is that his plan? Like, I don't know. But were you surprised Stefan actually came clean? Like, he told Enzo exactly who she was, why he didn't tell Damon.
I'm not surprised, because if he didn't say anything, Enzo would have done something at that point. He would have done something. I don't think he would have killed her, but he would have put her in danger. And then Stefan would have had to do something, and then it would have came out, and then it would have been a mess.
I could see.
So for Stefan to just be like, you know what? You're just an asshole. I'm going to tell you everything. I don't care. Go tell Damon. It's, you know what? It's done now.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised at the time, but now that we've sat and reflected on it, it makes sense. I honestly, I was shocked. I was like, why? Why are you doing this? Like, even just make up a lie or something to make that sound convincing. Don't ever tell him the truth. But I guess.
I think Enzo even would have saw through even the tiniest lie at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He was, he was probably banking on Stefan to lie, and for him to just completely come out and tell the truth and be completely honest. That's why he was like, you're boring. I'm just gonna do this over here now. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, speaking of boring characters, Luke. He actually kind of grew some balls this episode.
Did.
But, still don't like him anymore than I did before.
No. I mean, he actually stood up to his dad, and that was the only thing that he did this episode that was even worth anything.
And it shows he has genuine sympathy towards his sister.
Yeah.
I don't feel that there's actually any evidence right now that supports that Luke is stronger than Liv. I think they're still equal. Like, every time that Luke's come in to, like, overpower her, it's when she's in the middle of, like, a spell.
Yeah, she's already being weakened.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't.
I don't know.
Who do you think would survive out of the two of them?
At this point, I really don't know. I don't know, because we haven't seen enough of Luke to actually judge his power and compare him to Liv.
Yeah, I mean, she's always the one doing the spells. Like, Luke barely... he overrode her cloaking spell, but that's a cloaking spell.
Yeah. I mean, he was brewing little potions for Elena, but he wasn't, like, enchanting them or anything. He was just brewing a little potion.
Yeah, so... I don't know, I'm not too thrilled. I don't like Luke at all. I think he's kind of a douche.
He's, like she said, you're exactly like Dad.
Yeah.
So, we already went through... We don't like their dad. Their dad's an ass.
Right, but... See, here's the thing. We talked about this last time. I didn't like Liv for the longest time, but ever since they revealed why she's acting the way she is, I've actually grown kind of sympathetic toward her, and I do enjoy her now.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, her actions make sense now.
Right. So, I mean, she's mad at Tyler. Tyler's like, well, yep, go ahead, just give up. Do it. It's kind of like the reverse psychology that she's too dumb to realize she's doing. She's like, I knew you were a mistake. It's like, what? Are you kidding? Like, you can't tell sarcasm? Like, you practically invented sarcasm, Liv. You can't tell sarcasm, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I still enjoy her. I like having her around. I definitely do not want Luke over her, so I'm hoping that if they do end up going through with the merger, which they both don't want to, but if they do, I hope Liv is the one that comes out on top there. So.
I mean, Liv is also, like, the most... I mean... Luke just doesn't fit with the current cast. Liv can actually, she's melding with Tyler. She actually fits. Right. I mean, she's made friends with Elena and all of them. So Luke, he's not. He just does it because they tell him to, and he's like, I don't want to do anything.
He's not even a supporting character at this point. He's like a reoccurring nuisance. Like, Liv is actually a supporting character. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm hoping we get something out of Luke the way we did with Liv, where I actually can like him, enjoy him a little bit more. I honestly don't see it.
No.
But I said the same thing about Liv, and look what happened, so who knows. I don't know. Another character that, I mean, all the way from the beginning, we've never really had anything with is Jeremy.
No, not really. He's always been... I mean, the only time he wasn't whiny is when he was Superhuman Hunter.
Right, and I love that story, and it went nowhere.
It went nowhere. I mean, they might be... they're kind of leading up into that, but I think it's more for ragey reasons, and he's emo and stuff. But, I mean, we kind of know that he's not gonna be in Vampire Diaries anymore.
Yeah, there's actually
Spoilers.
Well, so before the break, we had read some stuff from Julie Plec, some spoiler-ish secrets, bombshells that she dropped, and said that Jeremy was going to be applying for art school. Mm-hmm. So then we get the news that he's leaving the show as a series regular. They're not killing him off.
No.
So putting two and two together, Jeremy's leaving to go to art school. Right, so he's not going to be on the show. Julie had said in an interview, whatever, afterwards, that we'll see him around for, maybe some season finales. We could see him around for funerals. We could see him around for weddings, that kind of stuff. Not saying that there are going to be funerals or weddings, but they just mean those type of events, big events might, justify seeing the character in. And it's those kind of things, it's a quick fly in, stand there, you're there for an hour. You're done. So he could easily get in on stuff like that. I don't know what the actor's reasons are. I'm gonna
maybe
assume
he really is going to art school.
Maybe. I'm gonna assume that he wants to break out and do some more acting roles. Because I mean, he's kind of like what Chris Wood Kai is in. He's been in a handful of things, but Stephen R. McQueen he's been in a few more things. He's been in episode of CSI Miami, Without a Trace, Numbers. He was in 7 episodes of a series called Everwood, then an episode of Threshold, and he's been in 4 movies. He was in Piranha 3D, American Breakdown, a Disney Channel original movie called Minutemen, and a short film called Club Soda. So, I mean, he's had a little more experience when it comes to that, but I think he may just want to break out a little bit, get something where he has more wiggle room, because the way that the Vampire Diaries is working is they keep adding in all these new characters, and then characters like him and Matt, who have been here from the start, never had a huge chance to grow and become a big part of the spotlight. Jeremy had the Hunter storyline, was really cool, but then it just dropped off out of nowhere.
Yep.
Right, and
as soon as Silas was done, that was done.
Yeah, and we had the storyline with him and Bonnie, and it was kind of effective, but it was going nowhere. It was they've always been apart, and like, if it's not one, it's the other. If Jeremy doesn't die, then Bonnie's on the other side. If Bonnie's not on the other side, then Jeremy's a hunter and he's trying to kill all their friends, and or Bonnie's not the anchor and she's gone in purgatory and he's whining over her and leaving her voicemails, and now that there's some hope that she's alive and they know she's alive, Jeremy was so frustrating. He's just like, I told you this was gonna happen, whatever, I'm done. And like, I mean, the coolest thing he did was shot Kai,
Yeah, this episode.
But where's that going?
He just shot Kai. That's all we're going to hear about it. I mean, he might whine some more in the next few episodes.
I mean, I actually enjoy Steven as an actor, but the character Jeremy has been going nowhere.
No, it's really flat.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like he's just out of place, and he probably feels out of place in the cast, and it's rather unfortunate. And part of that, I want to say, has a lot to do with the fact that Jeremy didn't exist in the novels.
Possibly.
But at the same time, half of these characters don't exist in the novels, and they're doing just fine. Like, Kai in one season has been getting more attention than Jeremy's gotten in the last 6 seasons.
We can use that, the whole original series didn't freaking exist at all. They brought, half the originals didn't exist in the novels. Yep. So, I think
Niklaus was the only one. I could be wrong on that. There may have been one other, but I think Niklaus was the only one in the novels. So, but yeah, it's a shame to see him go. But you know what? If that's what he's doing, if he's leaving to pursue an acting career, I completely wish him the best, and I 100% understand. Like, no harm, no foul. As long as he's willing to come back for a couple episodes here and there, just to let us know that he still exists. Because that's the one thing I don't like, is
ending a character's freaking story and just leaving it at that. They don't bring him up again, and he's still around in the story, but you don't see him. It's just, it doesn't, unless they kill him off. That's right. We know that.
But Jeremy's been killed off already, and that hasn't stopped him.
Exactly, he's back. So.
It's like a little side tangent. The show Happy Days. Jimmy Cunningham had another brother. He was in like 5 episodes, and then he just like disappeared one day, and nobody said anything, and never acknowledged that he existed ever again. And it's just like these big gaping holes. They're like, really? So I'm glad that without killing him off, they've stated he's still gonna be around when they need him. So that's good. Caroline's mother, though, right? We it's an awful situation, and for a lot of people, it's gonna hit close to home, because like,
Yeah.
can't I had a grandparent who died from a brain tumor, so it's just like, it's a touchy subject, and the fact that they're even tackling it is pretty ballsy to begin with. But we did go into some debate on whether or not it would work, and it seems like all the vampires on the show are like, it's not going to work. We would have heard about it by now.
Yeah.
Caroline is still convinced it's going to work, so that's why she wanted to go to Duke and all that. And she compels the surgeon or technician, specialist, to give an honest answer, and she gave an answer that Caroline did not want to hear.
Yep.
That there's no help for her. There's nothing they can do.
But the specialist did, give her a tidbit of information that got her to do something a little proactive.
Yeah, it led her to another patient who's in a little further along stage of what her mother has, the exact same type. And she decided to use him as a guinea pig, seeing that he had no family ties. He had no next of kin, anything like that. So nobody was going to miss him, as bad as that is to say, but,
Ugh.
So she experimented and gave him some blood, and then compelled him to not remember her.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seemed good.
Everything seemed fine.
It was working.
So she left happy.
She left happy. She went right home and shoved her wrist right into her mother's teapot and drank the tea down, So then we get the flash to him coughing up blood in the hospital and dying.
Well, they didn't really show him die, but he was lying there in a pool of blood, so we can assume.
Yeah. Could assume that he's dead.
Yeah.
So, my question to you, is he a vampire now?
I think they're gonna go a little bit further and make it something more than a vampire.
Really?
I think because, it is a tumor, it is cancerous, it has a mutated, biological sense to it, that mixing it with vampire blood, probably not a good idea. I just, maybe it's because we had a conversation last night about monster movies, but I want to see something gruesome come out of this.
Yeah, zombie?
No.
I know how much you love zombies.
No.
But, it's something that, like, the tumor, it affects the brain, right? Mm-hmm. So if the brain is overpassed by this tumor that, for all we know, it could be growing with the vampire blood, would replace motor function and cognitive abilities, and very well could zombify to a degree, not the traditional sense of zombie where the bite is gonna... I mean, it might, because if the vampire blood mixed... For all we know, it could be a zombie. But... It's an interesting thought. Yeah. I don't think anything major is going to come out of it. I mean, it would be really weird to throw zombies at us right now. Especially with so much going on with the merge and Kai and all this. But maybe we do need a little side plot somewhere. Mm-hmm. This doesn't have to be like a over-encompassing thing that takes over the whole rest of the season. But, eats away 4 or 5 episodes. I could see that.
I don't know. I mean, they could, wrap up this stuff with Kai really fast, piss us off, and then throw zombies at us.
Don't piss us off. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I don't know. I just want to see something a little bit more exciting come out of it, instead of him just wake up and, oh, hey, I'm a vampire. I'm going to go eat some people in the hospital, and then, remember that she compelled me and she gave me and made me a horrible person.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go kill her mom. Because, that's something... Oh, God. What's her... I don't want her mom to turn into, some monster zombie thing.
I mean, just because this didn't work with the other patient, do you think that that's going to be the same case? It's not going to work for her mother?
Well, her mother's not as far along. So, it is different in a sense. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be different. Maybe she will just heal.
Could.
Maybe the other guy was just so, far along and close to, he was right on the cusp, and it just, the vampire blood helped him, gave him a couple moments of happiness and feeling great, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Took over.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Spoilers, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that she's not going to make it. Just because I happened to glance at the upcoming series of episode titles. Episode 12, which is next week, is called Prayer for the Dying. The day after that is called The Day I Tried to Live. The week after that is called Stay, and then the week after that is called Let Her Go. So just looking at that series of titles, I'm predicting episode 15 to be the episode in which she dies. The episode after that is called episode 16, The Downward Spiral, and I see Caroline spiraling out of control after that.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction just based off the titles. So
the next few episodes are going to be depressing, aren't they?
They very well could be. And it's going to be bad because, like, we've had her around as the sheriff since the beginning. So who's going to take over the reins of sheriff now? If you had to make a guess. I think I know the perfect candidate.
Matt?
Yes.
He's too young and he has no experience. He's not even trained as a police officer.
Doesn't mean anything.
It means a lot.
No, because he's part of the founding families. And the founding families know this whole thing with...
If I knew being a part of a founding family would just get me a fucking job, I'd be doing some research on my family history so I could.
You've never heard of getting in the family business?
What family fucking business?
It's the whole vampire thing, and you saw there was that moment between the two of them, and when Matt called her in and said, "Hey, come look at this, whatever," and he's like, "The bear hasn't even been down for all but like a day, and here we are, vampires killing people again. Is this what our town is to be?" And she's kind of reassuring him, "This is what we have to deal with. This is Mystic Falls. Things will work themselves out." And Matt just seems like the perfect candidate out of anybody else in Mystic Falls. Who's going to do it?
I mean, for characters we know, yes, Matt is the one that makes the most sense.
And he has a lot of experience when it comes to vampires.
Supernatural things regarding Mystic Falls. But when, regular police stuff that she has to, actually, go in and, an actual murder, not involving werewolves or vampires. A crazy guy going up and shooting somebody. How is he going to deal with that?
I think he's qualified. He took those whole training courses with Tripp at the beginning of this thing. He was in that, camp neighborhood watch thing or whatever. He's had experience. It's not like he's completely going in blind.
That's true, but he has no, strategical and, knowledge about all the, forensic side of police work.
Yeah. But that's where you get your deputies and stuff to take care of. You're kind of like the boss. You go around. Lackeys. Yeah, you go around. You tell people what to do. You're not gonna know the best way to investigate a crime scene. That's what CSI is for. Well,
I don't know. I know it's gonna happen if it comes to that, which is it's gonna come to that. But I mean,
unfortunately,
to me, if I'm thinking if it were real. He wouldn't get the job. They'd ship somebody in from out of town.
Quite possibly, but that's how bigger towns work. I think if it's a smaller town, like Mystic Falls is a pretty small kind of community.
Who was from a town? A really small town?
Did she take the midnight train going anywhere?
It was a plane, but hey, you know what? It was me. My town is smaller than Mystic Falls, and we got people shipped in all the time to take over stuff. So,
yeah, but if the sheriff that was resigning, if you were her daughter, then you very well may have been a candidate for that. We don't know. You can't say for sure.
No.
And I think Sheriff Forbes would recommend Matt to be the one to take her place. So, I think it's kind of I think it's the same token, so who knows? Who
It's
knows?
just, like you said, he's part of the founding families. He's got a leg in already.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually part of the. What's his last name? Donovan? I don't think Donovans are part of the founding families, but
Oh, he
um,
knows enough about the background.
yeah, he knows enough that he's kind of like grandfathered in at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, outside of that, the only real question that I have for you is Kai. We got to go
Kai.
back to Kai. Do you want to see Kai gone at the end of this season?
God, you know what? That is the hardest question because
I we had already one of our prediction, right? Our prediction was that the mid-season finale, I remember this very clearly. I think this was our first episode of the thing. I don't know for sure. When I say very clearly, I don't remember the exact time. Very vague on that. I'm terrible with that. But the discussion itself was very clear that we said mid-season finale was going to be the barrier taken down, which happened,
which
and the
happened?
finale was going to be the Gemini Coven merger. So, if that's the case, we're kind of leaning away from Luke and Liv at this point. And it seems like it's really focusing on Joe trying to overpower Kai, wait it out, wait for his power to disperse and merge so she could beat him. I
Yeah.
don't want Joe to win. I want Kai to win. I want Kai to absorb her powers, gain even more powerful, because now he will, A, be able to absorb power from people, but B, maintain power because he merged with Joe
With
and it's
Joe.
gonna take, and her power is gonna be his power. So it's not gonna be like a sponge anymore that just releases it and it's gone. He's gonna be, I'm assuming, gonna be able to do both. And can you imagine how much stronger of a villain that would be for next season to have to deal with, and then they dispatch him in like the first episode? But like, because isn't that what they did with like Silas? You
That's
know.
exactly what they did with Silence.
So, um, I want to see Kai carry over. He's such a great character. I don't want him to be gone. I want him to stick around more than just one season. They need a villain that overarcs over multiple seasons. I would say we had that with Catherine, but take all of Catherine's appearances and like line them up, and that probably equaled one season.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, she was very sporadic every time she was around. So I just want somebody who's going to stick around for a bit. I want somebody, a villain that's actually a methodical person that they're going to have to really try to take down, and they're not going to be able to do it in 12 episodes.
I'm looking at the wolf in sheep's clothing scenario where Joe's gonna win. It's not gonna be really Joe. It's gonna be Kai in Joe's body.
So you think,
And or Joe's there and she's merged with Kai, but she's different. She kind of feels like she has this inner turmoil, and then really Kai isn't dead. He's fighting his way out, or trying to. And it's causing all the things in her brain to
ooh,
go wonky.
I would really, really enjoy that. But then at the same time, I don't want to lose the actor.
No, the actor is totally what would ruin that.
The actor is what makes the character Kai. And
Mm-hmm.
it would be interesting to see the inner turmoil of Joe, but just unless the actor is like there and like just being like the little devil that sits on her shoulder and like, like
That'd be
he's just
amusing.
appearing and only she can see him kind of thing, and he's taunting her, and
That would be interesting.
that I could deal with.
Yeah.
That I could deal with.
As long as he's still there and he's still being conniving, he's still a smartass, and you can actually see his facial emotions and like facial features and emotions and all expressions, and
Yeah,
God, that'd be amazing.
it would. It really would. I just don't want Kai to leave. I don't. I want Kai to be a series permanent member. Like,
It's
just,
not.
I want him there till the end of the show. Which we don't exactly know how long is going to be going, because
Yeah.
rumor has it one of the main three cast, Stefan, Dame, and Elena, have not signed their contract for season 7 yet. If we had to take guesses as to who it was, I think it's Nina.
I think it's Nina Dobrev as well,
So,
because we all know that Ian loves the show. He loves, he loves being the character Damon. We
He
know
loves the
that.
fans,
Yep. He loves that
Not
part
that
of
Nina doesn't,
no.
but Ian just loves it more.
That he's already signed.
And
Uh,
Paul,
Paul,
they've given Paul some great leeway with like his directing. He's getting to basically live out a dream here, and I know that this is something he wants to pursue, but I don't see him backing out quite yet. Like,
no, me either.
it's kind of like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Like you're gonna wanna, what's given you the fame and the notoriety and everything that you've had. You don't want to turn your back on them and leave them high and dry because that's bad karma. So out of the three, if this is the case, Ian is now engaged to Nikki Reed's, I believe it is.
Who's that?
Some girl he's been seeing. I don't know. Apparently she's been hanging around on set.
Oh, that would make Nina very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who she is, but okay.
Yeah, she, I'm gonna see right now. She has a career in music. I don't really know much.
Okay. Well, I guess we can look that up. Wait.
She's from Twilight.
Wait.
She played Rosalie Hale.
She played Rosalie?
Yeah.
That's why I don't really recognize her, because she's blonde in that movie.
Yeah, okay, so she played Rosalie in Twilight.
Okay.
So she is, not very disfamiliar to the vampire universe.
No, she's not. She understands.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, apparently she's been hanging around set. Then at one of Screen Actors Guild Awards or something like that. One of those, I think Nina, completely avoided them completely. So, I mean, if I had to make a guess... I mean, granted, this is hearsay. I'm not there to witness this, so I'm just going off what I'm reading in the news, which may or may not be completely true. But if I had to make a guess based on those reports, I'm going to say that Nina's probably the one that didn't sign. And if that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised if Nikki gets her wish after all, and Elena may die this season. However, book spoilers coming up, so keep this in mind, guys.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the case, this is the storyline that I see them going with forward. They're definitely doing season 7. From what I understand, Julie already has their ideas lined up. They haven't officially been renewed for season 7 yet, but they're planning as if they are. The stories are already in progress. If they kill Elena, in the books, she becomes an angel. Right? So if that's the case, she can go do angel things and disappear from the show for a while. And we can deal with the struggle that the characters are doing in life post Elena. Watch Damon spiral out of control, go crazy and killing spree, murder, whatever instead. Or we could see him go the opposite route and not give up on Elena and still try to find a way to get her, which would kind of be the boring, more predictable route. I'd like to see some kind of hybrid between the two and have that stretch out all the way to the end until Nina, they can get her back for the last season and just have her come in the last couple episodes or even the finale. And I'd be happy with that. I'd be completely fine with that. Bless you.
Thank you very much.
I wasn't sure if that was a sneeze. Yes, but I don't know, would you, I'm not even going to ask because you don't want Nina on the show anymore. But do you think the show would still be, Elena, would you think the show would still be watchable without Elena?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she's been
the main character from the very beginning, but...
Yeah. I mean, technically, if you want to go into it, the main character are the two brothers, and it's the relationship these two brothers have.
Yes.
So I think they can get away with it, but I don't know if it'll be as compelling.
They can bring in more love interests. I mean, you can bring in a really alluring character for Damon and Stefan to fight over again.
I mean, this kind of crushes my hopes that Catherine is still lurking around somewhere. You know, like, I can't accept that Catherine is just gone. I can't.
No.
You know, we heard one thing out of Catherine. I think at the very beginning of the season, they mentioned the word doppelganger, and that was it.
Yeah.
You know.
And see, like, I was so, like, crazy, like, oh man, I was hearing about Lena going, angel in the books, and I'm like, whoa, okay, Catherine got swooped away by big blackness. What if she's demon and demons are gonna come running out of portals and stuff, which would have been so awesome.
Yeah.
But if Nina if she's not gonna reprise her role, if she's not gonna sign that contract, oh, that kind of stuff can't happen. I don't think it can.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know. There's an article I'm trying to pull up right now. So, Nikki says she's not worried whatsoever about Ian and Nina. Like, she's not jealous, anything like that. So, she's not concerned with that. So, I don't think it's Ian that's has any pressure on that for what's going on with her on the show, because obviously there's still an item on the show. There's still that love interest there, so they have to deal with that. And I think that may be too much for Nina. I couldn't imagine having to work with an ex-girlfriend or something like that, and then if she was engaged on top of that, and like, I don't know.
You have to do intimate scenes with them. It'd be awkward, and
It would. I mean, I know I'd do it on a professional, especially on a show, if it was this popular. I'd force my way through it, whether I wanted to or not. It still wouldn't make it any less awkward. But I could understand why she wouldn't at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the case. A lot of people go like, she's not professional, but no, she's human. She's gonna have feelings that she's not gonna like it, but she's gonna do it like you said. You would do it on a professional. It's a show. It's popular. You're gonna do it because that's your job. But that doesn't mean when she goes home that she doesn't like cry about it or just like feel sick about it. It is something that a regular human. I mean, she's a regular human being. Right. Everybody would have conflict with that.
She was a vampire.
No, that's Elena.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I don't know.
Who's gonna die?
Yep. So anyway, after. Tangent over. Next week episode, I actually haven't read the synopsis yet, and the first two words here, it says The Merge. So I'm a little nervous now because our prediction for the season finale may not be so accurate. But anyway, it says The Merge. When Liv and Luke's father arrives to town to celebrate their birthday, they try and convince him to let Joe and Kai take their place in the merge ceremony. After Tyler finds out that the merge is happening sooner than he expected, he urges Liv to let him talk to her father. Meanwhile, after Caroline's plan to cure her mother takes an unexpected and devastating turn, Elena, Stefan, and Damon gather at the hospital. This is not going to be a happy episode.
No.
While Joe attempts to save Sheriff Forbes' life. Period. So Joe is going to try to do something with magic, I'm going to assume now. They're really going out all forms of supernatural plans here. The vampire blood now looks like magic. And finally, with the merge set to take place, Damon's risky plan quickly sends things spiraling out of control, forcing one of the twins to take matters into their own hands.
So it doesn't sound like we're going to get much of Kai, but it's going to be based around Sheriff Forbes, Liv and Luke.
Well, don't forget, Kai and Joe are twins. So when it says take matters, face one of the twins to take matters, that could be Kai. Kai could be taking matters into his own hands, forcing one of the twins to take matters into their own hands. That sounds like Kai to me. So Damon's risky plan sends things out of control, and it forces Kai to take matters into his own hands. I could see that.
When Damon's plans become risky and somebody else has to taking matters into your own hands, I mean, that can mean anyone. That can mean Liv. It could mean Luke. It could mean, we're talking about like, in any case, if it's a risky Damon plan,
then I'm going to love it.
Even I might have to take matters into my own hands, you know? So you put Damon's name in that sentence and everything just you can't figure it out. It's anything can happen.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think that about wraps things up. You have any final thoughts here?
No, I mean, see, the Vampire Diaries this season for me has been, because I've already kind of, like, said so far on all the podcasts, I've kind of, like, said, okay, it's after the winter break, they're all coming back, and so I'm saying, so far, the season has done this for me. So, the Vampire Diaries, to me, feels like it's not at the top of its game. It's not shit like it was last season.
That's for sure.
It's kind of wavering in the middle, and it's not taking big jumps or big dips. It's just kind of sitting in the middle and kind of a little wave, which is nice because
you can't have everything be amazing.
No, you can't. Everything can't be perfect, but it still, brings my interest in. I still want to sit down and I still want to watch it every week. I still want to talk about it every week.
Yeah.
Where, there's some other shows where it's like, I don't want to. So, I mean, for me, it's on a good track right now.
It is. It's at an enjoyable level. It's something I still look forward to every week. And like you said, for me, though, it's climbing. It's this episode especially has reinvigorated my interest in the series as a whole.
It was a very good episode. I do have to agree with you there.
I mean, the show has been good, and it was last season's finale. We were talking, and you walked in on the hate train, and we had a really good discussion about what this future season is going to hold for us. And it kind of flipped your opinion around to give it a chance. You didn't even want to give the season a chance on the way it ended. But then after the thing, you're like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. And I'm really glad that we have been watching it and we're able to continue this because it did, in fact, get better.
It did get better.
So
a hell of a lot better. I'm still like, why didn't they address Bonnie even a little bit in this last episode?
I'm glad they didn't. Don't cram it.
Yeah. I was wondering at the end of the episode, why didn't they do that? But then, you reflect on what you watched and, you sit down and you talk about it. Makes sense that they didn't because it would have felt really... And there would have been way too many questions to ask or and answer for them. So
I don't even think we're going to get Bonnie next episode.
No. I don't see that happening possibly 3 more episodes.
Yeah.
There seems like a lot's going to happen with the Geminis and Sheriff Forbes.
Yeah, and I think right after the merger takes place that we're going to end up seeing Bonnie, and then we'll deal with her following that episode. So they'll end like the final episode with Bonnie with some glimmer of hope on her way home or something. Yep. Or get this, with the Gemini Coven merge, the spell goes down, and Bonnie's free. The prison that the Gemini Coven created collapses.
What if Kai wins? And he says, you know what, this prison is a bitch, I'm getting rid of it, and Bonnie's coming in, because I kind of like her.
Or send everybody to the prison.
Do a switcheroo.
Yeah.
Send the whole rest of the Gemini Coven to the prison?
Yeah.
Sure.
Could be. Nikki, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24. It's all down there, LadyVenom24.
You can find me down below at Phenomenon, Phenomedom. You could also find us here on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, G+, and right here on YouTube /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. You can find us here every Monday. Granted, we're recording this Tuesday, but you can find us here every Monday for a discussion of Vampire Diaries each week, live. If not, at least watch the videos.
Please.
Catch you guys later.
Latest. You've had that cough for a long freaking time.
It's only when I say the word MySpace. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's magic.
It is. It's fucking Gemini Coven.